Hello, grüezi, and welcome back everyone to another review slash unboxing here in Switzerland. For today, I'm very excited to show you something really amazing, and this is the Deepspace Seeker 3. Now this is a 3-inch 4S drone that I would like to show you with a O4 Pro camera system. I finally got it. It took quite a long time to arrive, and I cannot wait to show you what this drone can do. So for today, we'll do of course the unboxing, show you what comes in the box, and then we'll talk about the drone's specifications. Then we move on to putting the drone on a scale, see how heavy it is with and without batteries. Then I'll talk about my Maiden Flight setup, and then at the very end I'll give you my final thoughts and see if this drone, the Deepspace Seeker 3, does punch above its weight class. I think we should get started. Let's go. But before we go on to the unboxing and I'll talk about what comes in the box, quick thing. So when you go on the Deepspace website, you have different options to pick. So mine is the O4 Pro with the ELRS 2.4 GHz version with GPS. So you have the option to opt for no VTX. You can have it with the O4 Pro camera system and as well with analog. With all those three different options, you also can pick plug and play. So for your DJI remote controller, you can have it with the ELRS 2.4 GHz version, which is mine, and as well TBS Crossfire. I paid $480 with the O4 Pro and the ELRS and GPS. It's actually a micro M10 GPS chip on it. So without much further ado, let's go right ahead and start the unboxing of the Deepspace Seeker 3. And here it is. You can see I purchased alongside the drone quite a few propellers. Those are 3x3x3 HQ props, so 3-inch propellers. I got a couple of different color variations to have some spare. And here is this beautiful drone. Look at the presentation. Very nice. So I'll take it out, and here it is. You can see it's actually very cool. So it's been hauled onto the cardboard with the rotation of the propellers already being displayed and secured here on the back side on the cardboard with the battery strap. Let's see what else comes in the box. So here you can see I got some more propellers, so I have some green ones spare as well. But more importantly, you have here all the different propellers and accessories, which we'll go into detail just in a moment. So you get two sets of props. So those are, like I mentioned, HQ props, 3x3x3. One goes on your drone and the other one is spare. Extra spare screws for you, just in case you lose one or you need to replace them. And some extra mounting for your O4, O3 and analog. And two different stickers. And lastly, the manual. And here it is, almost ready to fly. The only thing missing is the battery. So I put both battery straps on, removed the plastic cover from the anti-slip pad, installed the HQ prop 3x3x3. So those are the ones that came in the box, but left the protection cover of the camera unit on just before I go out and fly. Then I put on an ND filter. But before we move on to putting this drone on a scale, we have to talk about the drone's specifications. I'm going to put a side panel here with an overview of all the important things. One thing I could not find, but I had to measure myself, is the thickness of the carbon fiber plates. So here the top plate is 2 mm thick, and at the bottom we have again two bottom plates. They are both as well 2 mm thick. The arms are actually 3.5 mm thick. The wheelbase of this drone is 139 mm across. Here you can see the USB-C connection that you can connect to your PC for your beta flight configuration. So the ESC is a BL32 40 amp ESC, and the flight controller is an F7 flight controller. Motor-wise, we have the Deepspace Aether 1505 4000 kV. I hope I can show you a nice, hopefully clear picture as of how they look. Here at the front you have the CNC machined alloy side plates to protect the camera from any impact and also add durability to the whole frame of the drone. On here at the top and the bottom you have silicone pads which your camera is mounted on, so you have no cello or vibration in your footage, which is also very important. At the very back here of the drone you have your DJI transmission module. Then at the back, if you fly with VLRS, here is your antenna. The installation of both DJI antennas was actually straightforward. The battery strap, you just slide both antennas into each slot that is on either side. You have an XT30 plug here, and at the very front and top you have the micro M10 GPS unit installed. TPU mount wise you have the landing pads, then the back for the antenna installation is also TPU. The top one here for the M10 GPS module, and at the front, at the very bottom, you have as well some black 3D printed TPU. So let's put this drone on a scale. So it's 182 grams. Let's try it with the 850 mAh 4S Ovonic. So we have 277 grams. Then we move on to the CHNL Ministar 850, 279 grams. And then lastly, the brand new LiPo high voltage 720 mAh battery pack, which I'll be using as well. And this gives you 248 grams. So that would be the flight setup I'll be using for my maiden flight. So 3 different batteries, 2 almost the same from the dimensions. Let's take it out and fly this beautiful Deepspace Seeker 3 4S with the O4 Pro camera system. All right, everyone, and now it's time to fly the Deepspace Seeker 3 with the Ovonic 850 mAh 4S battery. Let's go. Welcome to the first maiden flight of the Deepspace Seeker 3. Welcome aboard, everyone. And it's time to get going. This time, again, completely different location. I'm here out with a friend of mine. In fact, he's just starting out in the hobby and I'm helping him getting everything set up and going so he can enjoy the FPV hobby for years to come. You can see on the top right, first of all, satellite lock wasn't very good for the first time. It took well over 2 minutes for more than 8 satellites. I did set up beta flight configurator to have at least 8 satellites so I can arm the drone. And yeah, that is one of the things I always do for all of my drones. I set them, when they have GPS of course, I set them to have 8 satellites locked so I can arm the drone. Now, first of all, what I realized or what I found out very quickly when flying this drone is how well it behaved. Usually with my drones in the recent years, it took quite a lot to get, into the drone. How does it behave? Is it agile? It's just smaller little things. But here, similar to the Vapor that I have from Gap-O-C, which is a fantastic drone, it just felt very, how can I say, natural. It's very a nice, agile, zippy drone. It has power. And usually what I don't do very early on is I make flips and rolls till I feel very locked in and at home with the drone. Here, different story. Same with the Vapor. Absolute very good tuning from Deepspace. It is maybe just a little bit too sensitive on the stick input. Also keep in mind I'm using a brand new radio, the Radiomaster GX12 Crush in white, because it does kind of like, behave slightly different than my Radiomaster Boxer Crush that I still have at home. Nonetheless, here, different location, and the drone flies absolutely fantastic. It is also, which you can't hear unfortunately, we were shocked by its noise levels. It is very quiet, considering it's a 3-inch drone that has quite a bit of power. And when I say quite a bit, I mean quite a bit of power. I mean, it can punch. You can punch this drone and it can fly quite fast. So it gives you pretty much anything you actually want from a drone. It's agile. It's it's quite zippy. It has power. It is not that big. It's a 3-inch drone on 4S batteries with GPS, with O4 Pro. If you pick that option, of course, that is all up to you. But absolutely, wow. I don't like to praise all things all the time, but this one here deserves it. I mean, if a product really deserves a praise, or just to give a recommendation, I mean, it's important. I mean, drones, they don't come in cheap, right? So it's very important to give a good recommendation so others who watch this video can say, okay, this could be a drone for me. It can fly slow and it has everything you need, and it looks very nice too. It's visually appealing. The only thing here, what you can see is what I realized. In angle mode, I have a slight drift to the left with when I'm going to land, and you can see it very briefly. It kept on moving to the left. Now I tried to fix it in beta flight, however I could not fix it. So I'm not quite sure what it is. It happens to the Vapor now as well. I'm not quite sure if it's because of the radio, but still, see here I'm trying now a couple of things. Flying it a bit more, zippy. But yeah, absolutely fantastic drone. That's it for my talking. The other videos will be just music only. Perfect drone. I really love it. It's a very pleasant, positive surprise. This drone actually, and it delivers. Nothing more to be said. I mean, just absolutely, simply wow. But still, this drone is an absolute blast to fly. Very, very good. So impressive. So impressive. All right, see you at the verdict of the video. All right, and now it's time to fly the CHNL Ministar 850 mAh 4S with this absolutely fantastic drone. The first flight has been so much fun. I didn't go too wild on it, but this time let's see how this little drone does. And now it's time for the final flight with the sub 250, 720 milliamp hour, LiPo high voltage battery. Everything is starting to get numb because it's so cold, but let's go do this.
Hello, grüezi, and welcome back to my final verdict of the Deepspace Seeker 3 and see if this drone was worth the purchase. What do I think about it? What is good about this drone and what is not so good? Now, first of all, let's start with the not so good parts about the Seeker 3. I think the price tag is a little bit high, so $480 for the O4 Pro with GPS and ERS. I think it's a bit on the heavy side for me personally. I mean, you can get other drones that are slightly less expensive, such as the Vapor, which is a 5-inch drone.
you can get for $450 with GPS and DLRS, but it is a 6S drone. So here we have $480 with the O4 ELRS and the GPS. The other thing is the GPS didn't really sort of like work for me, even though it is mounted here at the very top. It always took over a minute to get any GPS, let alone the log of 8 GPS satellites. That's how I set up my GPS, my failsafe in Maiden Flight, so 8 satellite logs before I can arm and fly the drone. I don't know if it's because of the locations. I mean, I tried now 3 different locations and I always had to wait over a minute in order to get the satellites locked and fly the drone. Apart from that, let's start out then with the positive. Oh my god, this drone, I wish I would have purchased much sooner. Boy oh boy, does this drone give the Vapor D5 a run for its money. It is fun, it is agile, it is fast, the flight time is pretty good. It is just an absolute banger. Believe me, when you make this purchase of the Deepspace Seeker 3 and you go out and you fly for your very first time, you actually forget that you paid $480 and you won't regret it. Believe me, this drone is so much fun. And yes, it does fly actually similar to the Vapor D5. It does not have that momentum, that acceleration that the Vapor has. I mean, the Vapor is just brutal. It screams through the air when you really punch it, and I love it. But this one here still gives the Vapor a run for its money, and rightfully so. It is zippy. You can freestyle it. It can take it all, and it is so much fun to fly. Probably not the best drone for an absolute beginner, because the thin arms, they could break probably pretty easily. But other than that, if you have experience with flying FPV drones and you want to have something smaller, like I said, despite the price, you get a lot of bang for the buck. A lot of pros for the drone itself. Also, what is very nice is actually how quiet the drone is. I can highly recommend the Deepspace Seeker 3. And when I think, I mean, Deepspace doesn't just have the Seeker 3, they have the Seeker 5, which is the 5-inch version. They have the Rock 7, which is a long-range drone. Then they have the Stellar 25, which is rather like a Cinnamop-style drone. And the Seeker 35, which is a slightly larger 3.5-inch drone. With this product, my very first Deepspace product, I'm very impressed. I'll give it thumbs up. Tier-wise, of course, I'll rate the Seeker 3. S tier, absolutely. So, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you find this review useful. If you do so, please consider giving me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, post them down in the comments below and I will get back to you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. I've got a lot more videos, reviews, unboxings coming up in the future, and I cannot wait to share it with you all and see what you think about it. So that is it for me. Thank you all so much. Happy flying, safe flying. Take care. See you next time, and bye bye now.